Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Today, we're going to be doing my 40th live chill and chat on a Sunday evening talking home arcade. I can't believe we're now 40 episodes in to doing these live streams. You know, these go an hour, sometimes 2 hours long, and it's a pretty big accomplishment that I've been able to do this consistently every weekend or, every other weekend if I'm out of town. For this long. I just think it's a pretty big accomplishment. Also, shows how much support is out there for the channel too. I appreciate everyone who's in the chat already, who's already, made some comments there. You guys are really fueling this channel and the success of it and the growth of it. So I appreciate each and every one of you that are in the chat today. But let's go ahead and say hi to everyone first. Let's say hi to the Cornercade because he was the very first person to chat during the live stream when I posted it. He said, "Let's go, Biggie D. I'm calling into the show tonight." We'll have to schedule something, Cornercade, because I'm on OBS and I don't really have a way for anyone to call into the show using this software. I do use Restream, and I could get you on one day when we have that all planned out. I'd have to, actually load up the live stream through Restream software and do it that way. And I wasn't prepared to have you on tonight, but I definitely would like to. I think you'd be a great guest on the show. I'm also already going to take you up on your offer to be on your live stream here soon. So whenever I get back from my vacation, you guys should be seeing me on the Corner Cage stream here very soon. A-Train Fanatics here. He's saying, "Hey, Biggie and everyone else. Good to see you, A-Train. Glad you made it." He's always here every week. It never fails, it seems. And I always like seeing when A-Train is in the chat. JJ is here. He's saying, "Hey, Biggie D, love the potential of a skee ball game from New Wave. Would also like to see them spend effort on re-releasing titles that are unavailable, then making the cigarette machines and the Coke machines." Yeah, so we're going to get into some New Wave Toys talk tonight, but he's, telling you guys exactly part of what I was going to cover is a lot of what they're going to be making or what we see that they're making in the near future isn't actually arcades. It's all kinds of the other things that you see in an arcade, like the basketball hoops or the skee ball or the air hockey. All these things I think are coming or are already being made. And this is just to kind of supplement that look of a real arcade in this like micro miniature form. So I think they could really kind of make anything, but they definitely don't want to lose focus on the arcades because that's what made them successful and got them to where they're at now. So they need to keep that business going, but also branch out and, do some other things like the skee ball we saw last week. I think that stuff is really cool. Jason's here. He's saying, "Happy Sunday, human slime." Not sure what he meant by that last comment, but it is a happy Sunday. Good to see you, Jason. Papa Brad's Gaming saying, "The next big thing in home arcade, Biggie D's Arcade." Appreciate that, Papa Brad. Another member of the channel, always here every week. Big supporter of us and what we're doing here. Always like seeing Papa Brad in the chat. Let's see here who else has made it that I haven't brought up yet. Looks like PD7's here. Good to see PD7. He's saying congratulations on 40 episodes. So I appreciate the congratulations. I actually got a chance to meet PD7 in Cleveland last weekend. Had a really good time. I mean, I knew we were going to have a good time, and I knew we were going to be looking forward to meeting because we had been talking for so long over the last year since we started our YouTube channels, and we've become pretty good friends. So it was a really huge opportunity and a lot of fun to actually get to meet him and many others out there in the community for the very first time. Let's see here. Who else is here? Brad Water Rolls says, "When am I going to get on the Cornercade?" Brad Water has over 2,000 subs and is way more popular than many YouTubers. Not quite sure what you're meaning by that comment. I have a little bit of suspicion that this is maybe an alt account trying to start some trouble, but I'll keep an eye on this one and see if you have a legitimate purpose of actually being here and you want to actually enjoy the stream, or you're just here to start some trouble. But I'm not gonna time you out or ban you because you didn't say anything wrong. I'm just kind of throwing that out there that I'm gonna keep an eye on your chats. All right, guys. So let's get into this stuff. And we've got not a huge night. We don't have a ton of news to talk about, but I was able to prepare a few slides here for us to discuss and some things that have been going on this week. It's kind of actually been a pretty slow week for home arcade. And I'll get into why I feel that way and what I think is happening. But let's first get into the Cleveland Gaming Classic. So the Cleveland Gaming Classic was last weekend. Pretty much everyone in home arcade has probably seen the videos. They've seen the recap videos. And I'm just going to do just a short personal recap of what I enjoyed at the convention, what I noticed, and just point out some things that, that I wanted you guys to see there that you may have not seen already in some of these other streams or videos this week. But let's go ahead and let's look at this image. So this is an image of the Cleveland Gaming Classic. As soon as you walk in the door, immediately you're greeted with this retro looking living room, which was really cool. I mean, the way they had it all placed and all the different items sitting around you, everything was very retro and really brought that vibe and that feeling back of like an early mid 80s game room. This was a great photo op opportunity for us to sit down and get our pictures and also use those in thumbnails. You've probably seen this a lot this week. But this is like the very first thing you see. I thought this was really cool. Great idea. I think more gaming conventions should do stuff like this. One thing I did notice about this gaming convention in particular was it is very retro driven. So it is all about old school gaming. There wasn't much, if anything, modern there, which is really cool because a lot of the other gaming conventions I've been to are more about the more modern gaming mixed in with some retro. This was primarily all retro, which is something that I really liked. Steps Gaming has made it as well, saying, "Oh, Biggie D is live. Good that you're here and you've made it into the live stream." Let's see. Anyone else join us here before I get into this? Okay, so it doesn't look like it. All right, so let's get in now to, and Steps, I'm glad that you chatted just now because your name's about to get brought up again here. And Steps and I both felt exactly the same way. And I heard this from many others that went to this convention and attended. It was like a mutual, everyone felt the same way, that Glenn was the highlight of this convention. There were really only 3 or 4 booths in the entire convention that were home arcade related, that really pertain to what we follow and what we enjoy, which is home arcade. And that was Glenn's booth, the New Wave Toys booth, and the AtGames booth. And then you could say Michael B's booth, but he was never there. So there were really only 3. It was New Wave Toys, AtGames, and Glenn. And Glenn was head and shoulders above all the other booths. He just went above and beyond. Everyone who walked up to his table, he personally spent time with each and every person that walked up to him. He greeted them, introduced himself, and then got into his products. And he would answer every question. He wanted you guys to get hands-on. He wanted you guys to play with all these different products that he's going to be releasing. And it was really cool. I mean, it was... And it's not just because I like Glenn or he's a part of the community, but these products were actually extremely impressive. We'll kind of look from the left over to the right. And the left was the product that I enjoyed the most, which was the Sinden light gun. And this Sinden shotgun light gun is got kind of some weight to it. It's a little heavy. It's got some plastic on it, but it's also got some real wood on it too. Like the stock of it is real wood. So it actually feels more like a real gun, like shotgun you would have on like a big buck hunter at the arcade. It's of quality. It's got some weight to it. It's once you go in and you set it up, you want to make sure that it's calibrated. But once you get it calibrated, it's very accurate. And we're playing it on this little laptop screen, this tiny little laptop. And you really can't see what you're shooting at. But even with that, it was still very accurate and a lot of fun to play. So I just can't wait for this product to release. And I also want to just let everyone know, I was very impressed with it. I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see here. I'm going to put Brad Water Rules in timeout. So he's not getting us off track here. Yeah, so the shotgun was a lot of fun. By far the best product there. And I think the shotgun is a must own. Like for me, it is a must own item and it'll be a day one purchase. I did hear today, I was watching Glenn's retro live stream today, and he had said there was a little bit of a delay with the gun though, and it may not be a product of 2023. It may come out early next year now. So there is a little bit of a delay with it, but it is right around the corner. We still don't have pricing on it, but we pretty much know what to expect and what we're getting. It is the Sinden technology with a much better quality gun as far as, you know, the plastic and the components around it. Now, to the right of that is a gamepad. It's kind of like a Couchcade gamepad for the Arcade1up, but his version. And it's got the trackball. It's got the Akari Warriors stick as well in there. It's got the buttons. It's got his new two-way button that he just produced. Pretty cool. I was playing the Akari Warriors on that laptop behind it, getting to use that stick for the first time. And I'll tell you, it's very different than any other joystick I've ever used. And it is, you know, like I said, very different. There's going to be a learning curve with it, but I can see already that there's going to be a lot of fun be had with this new joystick that he's created. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I'm going to get this gamepad. I think what I'm going to get is his control panel for the iArcade, and then I'll get the Akari Warrior stick to put inside that. And then I also saw on Glenn's show as well today, he even made a post, a community post, that the Akari Warrior stick will fit in the iArcade stock control panel as well. So you don't even necessarily have to buy Glenn's control panel to use that Akari Warrior stick. You could use it actually just in the iArcade stock by just replacing it with that one. So that is cool. He's got the gun. He's got the new Akari Warrior stick coming. I also got to use the flight yoke for Star Wars. Again, just very impressed with these components and these parts. They were performing very well. They were a lot of fun to play. They were accurate, precise. I was playing the Star Wars game probably for 5 or 10 minutes, was having a really good time with that. And I'm just playing on this very little laptop screen, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I know once I get this on an arcade, it's just going to be more fun and more enjoyment than what I'm getting there at the experience at the convention. So just getting in front of these products, getting my hands on them, getting to ask some questions. You know, I was already wanting to get some of this stuff, but it had sold me. And like, for instance, the Sinden shotgun, that's going to be a day one purchase for me. And I'm glad I waited to get the Sinden gun. I didn't get the handgun. I didn't, pay money for that up front and then end up buying the shotgun. I'm just going to wait, get the shotgun when it's ready. And then, of course, you have his little miniature Build-A-Cades there on the far right. So I haven't really gotten into the Build-A-Cades yet. I do think they're quality products. I think they're a good price. And there's something big going on with these Build-A-Cades and New Wave Toys. They had made an announcement that they are working in partnership on something. They didn't tell us what that announcement was, but they did announce that they are working in partnership on a new product. And I don't know what that's going to be. I can't tell you, but if I had to guess, it's probably something with this Build-A-Cade. They're similar products to the New Wave Toys. And they've got something up their sleeve, though, something that they've been working on. So let's say hi. It looks like we got some more people joining us. Tony C said B-Raid, so that's cool. So B-Kongs, I was watching him a little bit before I'd gotten on my live stream. It looked like he was discussing his time at the Cleveland Gaming Classic as well. Had a really good time meeting B-Kong and all the others in the community. Hollywood Polo has made it as well. Good to see you. He's saying hi, everyone. He did have a question. He said, Biggie D's Arcade, how was your day? What did you play on the Biggie-Cade today? So I didn't get much game time in today. I actually haven't played any of my arcades today, but I did play a lot of my iArcade on Friday. I did a live stream of it and played 2 hours of my iArcade on Friday night. And then yesterday I didn't play any home arcades. I was actually at a real arcade at a bowling alley playing some of the real arcades. And then today I've just been resting, watching football. Cowboys had a big win, and then now on live stream. But I may get on my iArcade tonight after the stream. Let's see here too. I did see a comment, something about the Cowboys. Here it is. JJ says, National Video Game Museum is here in Dallas, has a bedroom set up like that from the 1980s. And by the way, how about them Cowboys? Yeah, absolutely. Cowboys were huge this week. I did a fantasy draft for a showdown for that game, and I had picked the Cowboys as my Cowboys defense as my captain. And when I had checked, there was 2 minutes left in the game. I had paid $1 to be in that fantasy draft, and I was winning $75. I was in third place out of like thousands of people. And then by the end of the game, I ended up getting ninth place. I only won $15. But that's pretty good. And if you had the Cowboys defense this week, you did pretty well. And I knew that going into the game that, the Cowboys were going to dominate. Bad guy Mike Worley's made it. He's here. He says, it's late for me, but I wanted to stop by and say hi. Great hanging out with you in Cleveland, Biggie. Had a lot of fun. I had a good time with bad guy Mike Worley, as well as his good friend Hot Rangus. These are all just really good guys. Everyone I met there was, just as nice, generous, and fun to be around as we experience online. Everyone was exactly who I thought they would be, and they acted exactly how they do online in person. A lot of these people, you wonder, is it an act? Are they just being this way on camera? No, these people genuinely are good people in our community. And we have a lot to be thankful for, that we get to be friends with all these people, and we get to do these kind of events each year to bring us together. JJ said 3/4 scale cabs from New Wave Toys using Glenn's button, stick, spinner, and trackball ? That's a pretty good thought there. Pretty good prediction, JJ. You get a spinner or a trackball in one of these micro miniature arcades would be very hard, but they start making the arcade larger, then we can start getting some of this stuff. I know they did do the spinner in the Missile Command. So it is possible to do those controls in the miniature form like that. But if we want to make them really playable and enjoyable for, real game and real gaming, not just for looks, you'd probably want to go for a larger scale arcade. So many have predicted that we're going to get something bigger from New Wave Toys. I didn't hear anything at the convention that made me think that's coming, but you never know. You never know. If anything, I got an impression that they're going to steer clear of anything larger, is the impression I got, but nobody really knows. Goofyfoot's here as well. He says, I've pretty much bought everything Glenn sells. So Goofyfoot's getting it all. Anything he makes, he's buying it. And that's a good thing, because these are great products. They're inexpensive for what we're getting, and it supports him, which he's supporting us as the community. That's something else Steps, you can see her post here. Best booth of the event was GRS. And I got that same feeling because, he's really in this business not to make money. He's in this business not to grow and make this company huge. He really just wants to help us get quality products at a reasonable price. That is his goal. And you don't see that from companies very often. Donovan says, hey, Biggie D, hope you're having a great week. Well, it was good to see you, Donovan. I'm having a great weekend. Going to be going out to Orlando on Wednesday and going to Disney World for a full week. So it's been vacation back home for the live stream tonight, and then I'm back out on vacation again. So I've been having a really good time, just getting a little tired from all the traveling. But hopefully once I get to Orlando, I can kind of settle down. I'll be there for a full 7 weeks. I can catch up on some rest and just enjoy that vacation. Atrian says, yep, smash that like button when he entered the stream. Yeah, if you guys are watching, you haven't hit the like button, definitely do. That helps with the algorithm on the channel and to get this pushed out to a larger audience. That is one thing I've been noticing, is that we've been getting a lot of people rewatching these streams throughout the week. And the amount of people that like and support in that way or comment after the stream is over, it helps with that algorithm push it out even more. Jason says, at Carlo, John Trudeau, creator of Texas Sector, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of possession of a few years back and did some jail time. I don't even want to say that word because I don't want YouTube picking up on those kind of words and things. That's not good though. I don't even know who this person is, but not good news for them. All right, so let's get into the GRS Ultimate iArcade control deck. So this is an actual image. So when I walked up to Glenn's booth, he pulled out his phone and he showed me an image, and this is the image that he showed me. And this is what the final control panel will look like. So we saw on the prototype, it had those screws in there. And then it also had no typing, no words anywhere on the control deck. Now we see that the screws are gone, just a flat, even surface across the top. And then we've got now some words up at the top to tell us what each button will do for those volcano buttons. Volume up, coin button, power, all those. So this is it. This is the final product. I did have a discussion with Glenn on this because I didn't pre-order. A lot of other people out there did pre-order. I did not. And he had said they're only going to make about 10% of what they produced for the pre-orders for their second wave, which is going to be your last opportunity to get this control panel. But Glenn looked me in the eye. He assured me, don't worry, I will make sure that you get one of these control decks if you want to buy one. And I told him I did. So I will be getting one of these, but it's not going to be a pre-order. It's going to be a purchase. And he did assure me that I will get one, whenever that second wave is produced. He'll make sure I get one. But I will be paying for it. This will be a purchase of mine. This isn't like a freebie for review or anything. I'm actually spending the money not to just support Glenn, but I think this is a quality product and I want to get one. Also, I've been having a lot of fun with my iArcade. Been playing a ton of MAME games, and I want to get some trackball games, some spinner games on there, start playing that. And like I've been noticing with the iArcade as opposed to the AtGames Legends Ultimate and playing the coin ops, is the iArcade just loads these ROMs so much faster. It's so much easier to get in and out of the games that I think my dedicated multicade will be the iArcade, just because it's convenience and how easy it is to get in and out of games. So I want to, sink some money into the iArcade and make it better, because I think it's going to get most of my game time here in the near future. So this is also another product that he is releasing right around the same time as the control panel or the control deck, is this Viper board. And basically what the Viper board is going to allow you to do is hook that up to his control panel, and you'll have a switch where you can switch between the iArcade's board to his Viper board, which this will originally be running Batocera, and we can get images from like Bobby Vu and stuff and load these things up with thousands of games. And so I'll probably be getting this as well. These aren't going to be coming in at the same time, and they aren't coming together. These are separate purchases. So I'll have to purchase this when it arrives and is available for sale. And then I'll have to purchase the Viper board separately when it's available for sale. But I will be getting basically the shotgun, the control panel, and the Viper board. I'll be getting all three of those items. Those are going to all be must-buys for me. So let's see here. Carlos says, we got volcano buttons. Atram Fanatic says, that's a tight-looking arcade stick. Carlos says, MG, get that second wave. Andy's Game Room, are those the push-pull spinners? Yes, these are going to be the push-pull spinners. There is also like an 8-way 4-gate switcher for the joysticks. I don't think that comes with the control deck. Maybe you guys can tell me if it does, or if that's separate. We're going to have to purchase that in addition. Goofy saying, I missed out. I must have. Jason says, all those words at the top of Glenn's iArcade deck are being replaced with icons on the final version. I helped Glenn with some iconography, and he did a great job. Okay, so we're getting a word here from Jason that these aren't actually going to be words. These are actually going to be icons. So I think I know what you're talking about now, Jason. In fact, I'm glad that you did correct me on that. Because now that I pulled this image here off of his social media, but I remember looking at the image on his phone and seeing not words, but seeing icons now that you mention it. So I think I actually know now that Jason's mentioned it. We are getting icons up at the top. So it is going to look a little different than what we're seeing here, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. Atrian says buying the quality products and supporting Glenn at the same time is a winner all around. Absolutely, it is. And Jason saying, aside from Batacera, iArcade is also being looked at. Steps is saying, I'm waiting for the shotgun before I get a gun. Same for me. I'm going to just wait till the shotgun comes out rather than getting the send-in light gun from overseas, because I'm just going to use the shotgun for all the games. I don't particularly have to have the handgun. All right, so let's get in now to AtGames. So I told you there were 3 home arcade companies that were at this convention that were like home arcade related. So it was Glenn's booth, AtGames, and New Wave Toys. So we're going to discuss New Wave Toys last. Second, we're going to discuss AtGames. I was a little disappointed with AtGames. I was kind of disappointed with AtGames going into the convention because they had told us they weren't going to be bringing the AtGames Legends 4KP pinball. So it was already off to a rocky start even before I got to the convention with AtGames. I also had told you guys that Michael Faybeck was going to be there, the new employee of AtGames that came from iArcade. I heard that on Michael B's stream that he was going to be there. And I had promised everyone I was going to get an interview with those new mics that I'd purchased with Michael. Well, as soon as I'd walked into the convention, I had gone straight to AtGames because I wanted to get it all prepared to do this interview and just let them know early on and try to find a good time to come back by. So I'd gotten there and spoken to one gentleman. He's like, well, I don't really do any of that stuff. He goes, go over there and talk to this other gentleman. Went over there and talked to him. And he had said Michael wasn't going to be there for the weekend. He wasn't going to make it. And then so I'd asked him, I was like, hey, would you want to do an interview with me? And he kind of gave me the impression, he did say yes. He's like, I will do an interview with you if you want to come back by later on. We're pretty busy right now. But if it dies down a little bit and I get a few minutes, I'll definitely do that. I'll sit down with you and answer some questions. But he's like, what questions are you going to ask me? And I said, mainly I want to ask about the AtGames 4KP pinball, future skins, future games that could be coming from Zen. He's like, well, that's all off limits. I can't talk about any of that. I can only talk about what you're seeing here at the booth. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, there's nothing here I haven't spoken about already. There's not really any questions I'm going to have on this stuff. And I was like, but is there anything you can ask about, or I can ask about the 4KP? And he's like, well, what are you wanting to ask? And I was like, well, I'll ask about, you know, you guys sent out the promotional material on the Zen pinball tables, and it had the Marvel, the Indiana Jones, the Star Trek, the Star Wars, all that on there. Are those all for sure Zen tables that are coming? And are those all going to be skins? Because it appeared that way in what you guys sent out. And he said, actually, no. Actually, none of those tables are actually even confirmed to be Zen pinball tables on the AtGames. And that also would roll out, you know, a skin. You know, they may not even get those games, those Zen pinball games on the AtGames at all. So forget skins. They may not even get those games at all. So I found it very unusual that they were already sending out marketing materials showing those licenses and those games, because they don't actually have those yet. Right now, all they have is the Addams family. Now, they did send out that material saying they're going to make about 15 more skins over the next couple years, but we don't know what those are going to be. We don't even have a place to start because they're, you know, tight-lipped on all this stuff. They don't want to talk about any of it. So I just didn't get a really good impression from them that they wanted to interview or answer any questions. And I didn't really feel like it was it would be beneficial for me to even do the interview at that point. I would rather enjoy my time with everyone in the community and meeting people and just enjoying that experience rather than having a camera in my hand and, you know, be worrying about making content. So I actually didn't end up making hardly any content at all the whole weekend. I kind of I had all my equipment, I had my mics, I had my cameras, I had everything with me the entire time. And I never pulled them out once because I was just enjoying the experience of the convention and enjoying meeting people. And I didn't want to meet someone for the very first time with a camera in their face. You know, I didn't want anything to take away from that experience. And I'm glad I did, because It was just a solid weekend of fun and meeting people, getting to know people. And, you can't ever, you can't ever go back and redo that again. And I'm glad that I did what I did and just focused on, the actual convention as just being there as as a fan of these products rather than as a content creator. And that's how I treated it pretty much the whole weekend. And so this is a video that they had put up on YouTube, just kind of give you guys an idea of what their booth did look like. But it just had the AtGames Legends Ultimate, had the AtGames Legends Pinball HD, and then it had the Pinball Micro. And that was it. That's all they were showing. I did walk up to the HD, Pinball Legends, the 32-inch screen one. Wasn't that impressed with that one. I was actually more impressed with the Micro Pinball because of the price. And I was just having more fun, surprisingly, with the Micro Pinball than I was the bigger one. Also, did not play the AtGames Legends Ultimate at all because I have one at home. I didn't even get on one of those to play one. And they were selling these too. And I heard that the micros completely sold out. They were a pretty good price. They were $2.99. They had some free tables on it, and it had free legs that came with it. If I had a way to get one home, I may have been tempted to buy one at that $2.99 price, but I had flown out there, so I had no way to get it back. Looks like Endangered Dog has joined us. Sup, Big? Good to see you, Endangered Dog. Just talking some AtGames and CGC. Jason says, for those fans of the OTG FPX Pinball, FPX 10.8 Beta has a game-changing... Oh, I wanted to pause that there, too. Very end. Because that's going to be something that I want to talk about here. Right there. Okay. But he says, for those fans of the OTG VPX Pinball, VPX 10.8 Beta has some game-changing new method of drastically reducing lag called frame pacing. Nice stuff. So that's really cool. So I'm glad you also brought this up, Jason, because I had watched a video. This must have been on Monday when I was flying home from Cleveland. And it was this guy called Smash JT, I think is his name. And he was talking about the Star Wars Arcade1up Pinball. And then I think he was talking this week about the AtGames Legends 4KP Pinball. And he brought up some really good points in that video that I kind of related with him on. And it's all going to kind of explain this and why I probably didn't pre-order their new 4KP. But he had said basically, you cannot replicate a real pinball machine virtually. It's impossible. And I agree with him on that. Even though we've gotten really far and really advanced on the graphics with these virtual pinball tables, there is no substitute for real pinball. There's no way to do it. It's impossible. And no matter how good the technology gets, we're always going to be lacking in that pinball experience because it is a virtual pinball table. So I didn't pre-order the 4KP. Maybe I would have been more tempted to pre-order it last weekend if they had it at Cleveland, but they did not. They are going to have it here, though, October 18th through the 21st. We're seeing it here. Pinball Expo. This is in Chicago. I do know P-Dubs is going to be there. And I think Michael B's trying to get out there to see this new 4KP. But the fact that they didn't have it at Cleveland, and that was the one weekend where we could get it at the least cost and the lowest price, I did not pre-order. And I think it's a lot of money. I have questions of, is it going to, be enough of an upgrade for me to think that it's worth the money? And then also, like Jason's discussing here with the OTG and doing the games through a PC and then OTGing it to the pinball, you need a really high-end PC for that too. So that's even more money. That's another $1,000 or $1,500 just for the PC. And that also makes me question, are the games we're getting on the pinball table, are they worth it? Are they that much of an upgrade without a PC for this to be worth it? So a lot of questions, and I also want to get into, why I didn't pre-order, and I said this in my video yesterday. I did a walk and talk at the Bolero arcade, and I did a little walk outside after, talked for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I told everyone in that video that I didn't pre-order the first weekend, which was last weekend at 1100. And now, because I was really occupied at Cleveland, my money was also taken up by Cleveland, and they didn't have 4KP at Cleveland. So everything kind of, fell in place for me to not want to pre-order last weekend, even with the FOMO and the discounted price, which those discounted pricing models like that early on with that very low price of 1100, everything you would think would have made me want to pre-order, but it didn't, because it wasn't at the Cleveland Gaming Convention. I was occupied by the convention, and I was spending my money at the convention, not wanting to spend my money elsewhere last weekend. However, ever since I've gotten home, I've been looking at it. I've been shopping it and reading about it and deciding, should I pre-order this thing? And I just can't find myself or push myself to pull the trigger on this at $12.99. I just can't do it. I'm not going to pay an extra $200 just because it's 1 week later. I do not like this pricing model, how they're going up $200. And then now we're at the end of this month, we're already in October. At the end of this month, it's going to go up another $100. So it's just keeps going up. And I've just made the decision already that I'm not going to pre-order. I know there's a lot of people out there that are pre-ordering this. I think you guys are going to be happy with that. I think you guys are going to enjoy these things. I'm going to, be jealous of everyone who did get one, because I really want one also. But I can't pay these high prices. And if it was $1,100 again this weekend, I probably would have done it. And I made a comment on AtGames Facebook post that I would have purchased this weekend if they had left it at $1,100 one more weekend. So they cost themselves a sell by doing this pricing model with me, at least. I'd be interested to see about you guys in the chat, or anyone who's watching later on. Were you guys tempted to buy it the first weekend, or did you end up pulling the trigger this weekend and, paying the extra $200? I just can't find myself or push myself to do it. Carlo says, yeah, I saw the frame pacing, Jason, good stuff. Andy's Game Room, member of the channel, he says, seems like you really just have to wait for the skin you're looking for and hope it is released with a good early purchase price. That also brings up a good point, Andy. I'm just not a huge Addams Family fan. I mean, I like the show, I like the movie, but I'm not a huge fan. If there was a Star Trek table or a Star Wars table or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles table, or, something that I'm like huge into, it would have made me probably pull the trigger and push me to buy this. But also, yeah, that license. There's just a lot of things involved with this. It's a lot of money and a lot of things you have to consider. Jason says, so happy to see that. It's been a while since beta 5, so suspect beta 6 is extremely close. Science Spirits is here. Wow, that seems disappointing. Not sure. They must be having a discussion on some other subject. Carl Lowe, member of the channel, says, until B said to get the F out at 1 a.m. Yeah. So right before my stream, I was watching B Kongs, and you guys got to see firsthand what happened that night. I was totally shocked when B Kongs came out in the middle of the night and told us to leave, because we weren't even doing anything. We were just sitting on the patio, just talking. We weren't even being that loud. And he came out there and was like cussing a storm, telling us to get out. No one could understand what happened or why we were being treated that way. But he ended up apologizing. Actually, as we were leaving the house, he ran out to the driveway as we were leaving to apologize to us. So all forgiven. Even if he had not apologized, I don't take things too seriously. That none of that would have bothered me anyways. Papa Brad's Gaming says they have Zen, unlike Arcade1up. They will not say leak info until it's official and finished. Yeah, that is true. I mean, they are going to keep that to themselves. They don't, leak information like Arcade1up does. We typically don't find out until it's announced. They don't even let the, major content creators know this stuff early. They're pretty much finding out the same time we are, which there's, they can keep things under control that way. So I see why they do it. Carlos says, I would have done the $2.99 micro deal in person 100%. I would have also, I can't say 100%, but I probably would have done it if I just had a way to get it home. Hollywood Polo, Papa Brad's Gaming, did you play No Good Gophers tonight for G Parker's tournament? And Steps had said, I don't understand why they didn't use the original pinball art for Adam's Family. That table is iconic. And I think that's because Zen owns this artwork that we're seeing on it. And it is probably less cost and just easier for them to move forward. So let's get in now, guys, to the New Wave Toys booth. So I'm going to end from these three booths with New Wave Toys because again, this was another product I was very happy with. So I was very happy with Glenn's stuff. I was also very happy with the New Wave stuff that I saw as well. And going into this stream tonight, you guys haven't heard me talk about New Wave Toys much because I don't own any. And I thought they were a little bit expensive for what we were getting. But actually, once I got to the Cleveland Gaming Classic and I was in front of their booth and I was actually getting my hands on these little miniature arcades, I actually saw the appeal of these. And I was very impressed. And my only fear is now that I'm wanting to get these is that I'm going to want to own them all now. Like if I buy one, I'm going to end up getting all of them. And that's a fear of mine because that's going to be very expensive to do. And but I am going to get at least one or two here very soon. And I've already decided which two I'm going to get. So let me show that off to you guys. There's also going to be a lot more talk about New Wave Toys on this channel in, the near future and probably long into the future because these things they're very impressive. They are definitely, I can see why so many people like these. So this is a kind of an image of their booth. When they were setting up, I pulled this off their social media. Apologize again, I didn't get any pictures. But they had this like cool cigarette machine here up at the front, which really just had like some keychains in it. And then right behind that, they had all their miniature arcades set up. And then the booth behind that is where they would sit and they had their unreleased products or the products that just released in the last week or two up on that table. And the ones that I were sold on and the ones that I just have to get immediately are going to be this Coke machine. The Coke machine is much bigger than what I thought it was. It's actually a lot bigger than the arcades. It also has some functionality to it. I'm sure you guys have seen the reviews. There's hundreds of them out there now. But it actually will cool a can of Coke or 2 cans of Coke. It's got all the functionality. I'm not going to go into all that, but you have... you can put coins in. It's got a coin operation to it. You can press the button, little cans of Coke come out. Just really cool little toy. And I just think that this would be good for my desk at work. I do drink a lot of Coke Zero. Like I'll have 1 or 2 a day at least. So this is just perfect for the desk at work. And so this is going to be the first item I buy is the Coke machine. I actually went online to look at it today. And it looks like it's still not available for sale. I was seeing them all over the Cleveland Gaming Classic, though. I mean, there were a ton of them at that convention. They were selling them there. But again, I couldn't get it home. So I went online today to look, and it didn't look like they were available for sale yet. But it looks like they will be very soon. Also, these. So they didn't have the Ghost and the Goblins, but they did have the Ghouls and the Ghosts there. And... which I was happy with because I think of these two, I would probably go with the Ghouls and the Ghost. It's the more modern version of the two games. And I do like the black on the side panels. So those are going to be the first two I start with. The Coke machine and the Ghouls and the Ghosts. And I was also talking to them about my channel and, that I do have a home arcade related channel. And I was interested in review units as well. So maybe too, I will get a review unit to do in the future as well. We'll see about that though. Nothing's in writing or set in stone for that yet. So the first, at least that I'm going to get, the Coke and the Ghouls and the Ghosts will be purchases of mine just because I really like these products and I think they're really cool. I want to own them, not even for the channel, just to have them personally. I think there would be a lot of fun to have and be great, for a shelf or something. I was thinking too, everyone always talks about how I have this area behind me with no arcades. So I was thinking about getting like a small shelf that will fit into the wall here, and then just line them up directly behind me right here, and just kind of expand my arcade with this little area that I have. I've already got my ideas on what I'm going to do with these, where I'm going to start, and it's going to be the ghouls and the ghosts in the black and the Coke machine. Now they did announce a few other things there. You guys may have seen the skee ball. They have like a little skee ball, just like you would get in the arcade. Now that's played by hand. There's no quarters or anything with that. It does keep track of your score, and there is a little buzzer at the top of that with a light. So I think that's really cool. I would like to see them do like the air hockey table. I'd like to see them do the basketball hoops. Just kind of expand, give us more options to kind of put in our little micro arcades to make it look more real. And anything you would see in an arcade, I think is fair game. They're going to end up probably making that. So if you walk into an arcade and you see it, it's likely New Wave Toys is going to end up making that. But this was also another announcement that they had, and there was a lot of controversy with these USB cigarette machines. I talked to Shiloh quite a bit. I actually went to a house party at the Illuminati house on Saturday night. Shiloh was there as well. Got to talk to him about this. I'm a graphic designer, so I was interested in, this advertisement here. And because it looks just like, the old ads for cigarettes. And I found out that Shiloh actually created this artwork, and he thought it up. So I thought he did a really good job with this. He even went as far as, you have this little box here in the lower left-hand corner, which you normally has your surgeon's warning and gives you all your warning in fine print. He actually used that even in there, and just to give more of a description of what you're getting. So that's kind of cool. Now, personally, will I ever buy these cigarette machines? No, I'll just tell you flat out, no, this isn't for me. I'm not a smoker, and I'm glad that I'm not. It's been a very long time, like 20 years since I've quit. So I just wouldn't want anything to remind me of cigarettes in my home. They are thinking of people like me, though. This Arcade1up, which is basically a real thing that actually exists, is an old cigarette machine where you can put whatever you want in there and sell it just like a vending machine. And they would put art inside there and sell it and kind of use this as a second hand and reuse this equipment in another way. But again, it's still going to make me think cigarettes. So even the Arcade1up, I probably won't be getting. But this is all coming here in less than 2 weeks. It'll be available. I did get to see them at the Cleveland Gaming Classic, and they're really cool. They're just like little miniature USB hubs that you can put in the arcade to give it more of a look and power all your arcades, because they're all going to need power to each arcade. And each one of these cigarette machines would power 6 of them. So very cool stuff coming out of New Wave Toys. Also, I talked to them about their Berserk, because they had the Berserk and the Frenzy arcades there, and they were showing us these little boards that come in and out. And I had got into discussion on these as well. I was thinking, why don't you guys make a multicade, put the games on the PCBs, and you just put the game in there, and you have like a multicade. They've thought of this. They've been hearing a lot of people requesting it. It doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon, but they are discussing it, and they are aware of the people out there that would want to see that. I did also ask them about the Stern logo, because I think everyone has seen a lot of talk about it. It's owned by Atari. However, the game was originally made by Stern, and so you see it's STURN. They haven't actually put STERN on there yet, because they haven't actually gotten the license all worked out. They're still in active negotiations with Atari on this, because Atari owns the game. However, it was made by Stern. So they're in kind of a predicament. What do? Do they just do what Atari wants them to do and put Atari on it? Or do they keep pushing to make it as authentic as possible and get the actual Stern logo on there? It's probably going to cost them some money, and it's probably going to take more work and more time, is what I'm hearing. So this product still isn't ready yet. There is a hang up with that licensing. But if it ended up being Atari, I think it'd be a simple fix to, get your own logo and just put that over it. And it looks like we got some new people in the chat too. I wanted to say hi to Edensoft is here, creator of Circus Interstellar for the iArcade in Steam. He's in the chat. He's saying the Coke machine was cool, perfect for holding Red Bull. And he says, don't forget about that Berserk cab, Biggie D. Yeah, they've got the Berserk and the Frenzy. And the Frenzy, I think, is part of the Survivor series, which is going to be all beat up. And you can kind of see it there in the corner right above the PCB in that image. Ghouls and Ghosts is my absolute favorite. I love both these games. I was playing Ghouls and Ghosts on my iArcade on Friday. I had a pretty good run on live stream, actually. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I want the Berserk. I have no interest in a cigarette machine or a Coke machine. Replicades are only for me. So yeah, the cigarette machine, I'm not getting that, but I will be getting the Coke machine. And that's more so for the functionality of it. And it just looks so cool. It looks like a real Coke machine. All right, so let's get into now. I wanted to discuss so I went to Cleveland on Friday night. I had a delay on my flight. My flight got canceled, so I had to rebook a later flight in the evening. I didn't get into Cleveland until like 11 at night on Friday night, so I missed all the fun on Friday. And then I met up with Arcades Anonymous at 16-Bit Bar downtown on Friday night for about an hour. Then went to the convention all day Saturday. I went to the Illuminati house Saturday night and partied with everyone you guys know, Michael B, P-Dubs, Justin Console Kids, B-Kongs, 19K Fox, D-Love, Detroit Love. Oh, Detroit Love, I did want to mention him. He's a really cool guy. I was talking with him for about an hour. He brought this little countercade to the house that he had created. He put a battery pack in it. He put a Raspberry Pi in it, put some really good controls in it. This is like his baby. And it was just an amazing little countercade. So I enjoyed talking to him about that. Talked to him about that New Wave Coke machine. And then Shiloh from New Wave Toys was there that night at the party as well. So was talking with him. Just had a really good time. And then on Sunday, went to the convention. Then people started heading home Sunday evening. And so it was really just me, PD7, Stock Jock, and Todd, Nerd Lounge Master. And we were just trying to find something to do because everybody was kind of leaving and flights were coming up. And we went to Walmart, tried to go Arcade1up shopping there. They didn't have any Arcade1ups at the Walmart. Then we went to Best Buy and looked at the MK2 Deluxe on display and just kind of watched PD7 do his walk and talk at the Best Buy. And then we were going to go next door to Costco and go check out the new Pac-Man XL and the Star Wars pinball machine. And the Costco's closed at 6 p.m. on Sunday in Cleveland. We thought they closed at 8, and we got there at 6:30. So if we had just gone to Costco first, we would have been all right. But we didn't know they were closing that early, so we missed out on Costco altogether. And then that was pretty much the end. Everybody kind of got in their cars and went home or went to the airport. So I just chilled at home Sunday night. Everybody was pretty tired. I just chilled at the hotel all night Sunday night, watched some football, Sunday night football, got some rest. And then I woke up Monday morning and P-Dubs reached out to me. And that's what I was hoping for because P-Dubs and I were on the same flight going home on Monday. So I was hoping he'd reach out to me to hang out. And he did. And so I met up with him, and Justin Console Kits was still with him. B-Kongs was still with him. Mason Conrad, if you guys know him. And who else was with us? I guess that was it. It was just like the five of us. The five of us. And met up with them early, like around lunchtime, at a sushi joint there by the lake, Lake Erie. And by the harbor there. And then we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'd been wanting to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if I was going to go to Cleveland. So I was really happy that that's what they had wanted to do. So ended up going there, was really impressed with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think if you guys go to Cleveland, You definitely need to check this place out. When you first walk in, it's a lot of hip hop music, so it's not just rock and roll music now. It kind of covers everything. And then you start getting into the rock and roll stuff, and Elvis was like my favorite part of the whole Hall of Fame because he's like the king of rock. I've grown up listening to Elvis because my father is a huge Elvis fan. My grandfather was. And so I've been listening to their music or his music my whole life. And so that area of the Hall of Fame was probably my favorite part. And I just got like a really good feeling around everything they were displaying there. It just gives you like a really good warm feeling if you're a fan of him and his music. And then, they have every artist you could imagine. The Beatles, I thought was really cool what they had set up for them. These glasses were kind of cool. These were war framed glasses that he actually wore during war as he came in as like a photographer or something. So that was really cool. They have all kinds of really cool like collectible stuff and just like stuff they wore, guitars that they actually played, things that they had signed, contracts, all kinds of stuff. Like if you could imagine it and it's related to a band or rock and roll that's in the Hall of Fame, they're going to pretty much have it all. This was a wall, and it starts from when the Hall of Fame first started all the way until this year. And you can see who was inducted into the Hall of Fame each year. And what was really cool about this area was that you get to vote for who you wanted to be selected or inducted into the Hall of Fame for 2023. There was like 411,000 votes on that board. And I don't know if it's just those votes that you see on that board that actually end up being the final tally and what ends up being who they select, or if there are other people that also vote. I would imagine there's more than just the visitors that go that vote. But it would be really cool if they do select who gets inducted by just the people that visited. My vote initially was going to be 21 Pilots, but they had not been around long enough. I think they're not going to be able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame until 2033 or something like that. They're too new of a band. But then I couldn't understand it because Taylor Swift was inducted in 2017, and she hasn't been around that long. So I don't know what their criteria is or how they make these decisions, but 21 Pilots could not be inducted. So I couldn't even vote for them. So I voted for Korn. I don't know if you guys ever listened to the band Korn. I've always liked them growing up and enjoy their music. I think it's pretty good. And they were really low on the votes. They were like in the bottom 10%, but there were about 400 people other than I this year that did vote for Korn that I could see on the board. But really cool spot. Definitely recommend it. If you guys do travel to Cleveland, it's like a must see to go in there. Now, once you've seen it, that's it. There's not much else to see beyond that. Talking about Kongs here, I was about to show this clip of them. Jason says Kong's scream was his sense of humor gone rogue. He was really nice. That was the only time that he ever acted that way, was that night at 1 o'clock in the morning when he told everybody to leave. The rest of the time, he was very, very nice person. So he had said he made a mistake. He probably could have just said, "Hey, if you guys can head out, we're going to bed." I think that would have been enough, and everybody would have just left. Not like we were ready to stay all night. If you guys watched that clip he showed earlier, you guys will see I was drinking water by that point. I'd been drinking alcohol all night, but I was already onto my water because I was planning on leaving pretty soon anyways. Atrian says, nope, Chuck Berry is the true king of rock. Okay, so yeah, that's subjective, and everyone's going to have their opinion on who they think is the king of rock. For me, it's Elvis. I hear that a lot too, so I say it. Jason says, in the heat of battle, Bekong wove a tapestry of obscenities that, as far as we know, is still hanging in space over Lake Michigan. And Goofy's like, yep. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, no one who went to Cleveland got to try the New Wave Toys Berserk. That is strange. Did you try Berserk, Biggie D? I did. Yeah, I actually did play Berserk. They were saying you can't play it. But I was there with one of the people representatives of the New Waves, and he said, yeah, you can play it while I'm here. So I played it for like a minute. Pretty cool though. It actually is playable. Ettensoft says, I remember singing the Corn song coming undone at my 8th grade talent show. Very cool. Yeah, some of my favorite songs by Corn were the ones that they did with Ice Cube. I don't know if you guys remember those songs like Children of the Corn, but they were doing like hip hop rock at the same. They were like one of the first to start doing that, and I love those Ice Cube collaborations that they did. But let's listen to this clip real quick. I went with B Kongs and Justin and P Dubs and Mason. It was just us 5 there. But this was towards the end, and you go into this room, and the room has guitars, keyboards, drums, where you can play. And there's actually areas where they teach you how to play these instruments, and there's like training and everything, and tutorials. And so we're all get there, and we're like, "Where's Justin?" Because we knew once Justin walked into there, he was going to be wanting to play because he's a musician and he plays these instruments. And so Mason was playing the guitars. He's a guitar player. And I'd gone into the little recording studio with Mason, not wearing any headphones. Almost blew my eardrums out when he started playing those drums. And then keyboard, I was playing some of the keyboard, learning how to play, doing some tutorials on there. Justin played some keyboard. Justin played some electric guitar. But then they had sat down and played the acoustic guitars, and I didn't know B Kongs could play, but I'll let you guys hear this. I thought they were pretty good. Swift is a joke. LOL, yeah. I thought it was kind of, I mean, she's a highly successful artist, so I can see why she's there. But I don't see why she can get in there so much earlier than others that aren't even able to get in there. Have to wait. Goofyfoot says they are still working on the ROM. Talking about some other game there. Atran said he's been playing the guitar off and on since the age of 17. Very cool. So I did get a picture with the sign. This was the only sign picture I got, but they have these placed all over Cleveland for like photo ops. I was able to get one there by the harbor. And you guys may have seen my community post. So after we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they were going to the airport. They ended up actually making a stop at one more pinball place, but I went back to my hotel room because I wanted to start getting ready to go on my flight home, and I needed to charge my phone. But I met P-Dubs at the airport. We actually got to the airport at the same time, and I went through TSA with console kits, and then we had to split apart. It was just me and P-Dubs at that point. And we went into this little pub here to eat dinner and get a beer while we waited on our plane. And who walks in is Paul Niemeyer, the original artist of Mortal Kombat. And I've talked to him before. P-Dubs and I talked to him at Game On convention just about a month ago here in Phoenix. Very cool guy. I may have mentioned him about a month ago. Well, he came and sat down with us. For his flight was like 2 hours from then as well. So we spent like 2 full hours just sitting there in that pub, drinking beers, talking arcades, and found so much stuff out about Mortal Kombat talking to him. But one thing I'd found out, and just kind of give you guys some inside information here. So when Mortal Kombat 1 was created, Johnny Cage was not supposed to be in the game. Daniel Pacino was not originally supposed to be in that game. It was supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. And they didn't have the money to pay for him at the time, so they ended up not doing it. And that's how Daniel Pacino got the job, and he became Johnny Cage. Well, then now, today, modern day, Mortal Kombat's selling like crazy. It's a huge franchise, selling millions of copies of their game right now. Will probably never die. It'll always be around. And it's making tons of money. Well, they don't like Daniel Pacino, because he looks like Johnny Cage. And that's why we didn't see Daniel Pacino on the side of the MK130th Arcade1up. And that's because Warner Brothers, who owns Mortal Kombat, wants to keep Daniel Pacino away from their game. They just kind of want him to go away. And they don't even want him looking like Johnny Cage anymore. So I did not know that. But come to find out, you guys will see Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of the skins in the new MK1 game that just released. And the reason that is because they're really just trying to go back and get back at Daniel Pesina one last time. And you kind of hear all this stuff from the inside, by talking with these guys that used to work around Mortal Kombat when it first started. And just really cool hearing about all that stuff and just seeing why things happen and like why we didn't see Johnny Cage on the side of the MK130th by Arcade1up. And then we got into discussion on his artwork and all the cabinets he's worked on. He's worked on Tron. He did the Demolition Man pinball. He's done Super Pac-Man, I think it was. A bunch of Pac-Man games. He's done a ton of arcades. I would like to have like a full list of all the arcades he's done artwork for. But one thing I did learn as well is they don't call marquees, they call marquees headers. So if you're an artist in the arcade business, you're going to call a marquee a header. So that was interesting information. Also, he had told us as well that there was one other piece of information that was really cool. Okay, so it was Satan's Hollow. So if you guys know the game Satan's Hollow and you guys like the artwork on that cabinet, that was the one cabinet that he did the entire artwork for. He had full reign and control over creating that cabinet. So basically, the Midway, the company at the time, Bally, came to him and said, hey, we're going to give you full reign, full control over the way you want this Satan's Hollow to look. And this is the game. This is what it's about. You make the cabinet. So I thought that was really cool. I never really played Satan's Hollow that much, but I have been playing it on my iArcade since last weekend because of that. And I just like this guy, and it just brings so much more to that game now for me knowing that. But really cool guy. If you ever get the chance to meet Paul, he is just a fantastic dude. He's got a lot of really cool stories. He's been in this business a really long time. And us as home arcade fans of these iconic titles, these arcade machines, and just, speaking with someone that was an integral part of creating this stuff was a great way to end my vacation in Cleveland. Just a really good, full, fun, and just a great time in Cleveland. And I would say probably the thing that I liked the most about the entire trip there was the opportunity to meet everyone. That was the highlight of my trip, was the opportunity to meet these people for the last year that I've become friends with, that I talk to, that I see in the chats, that I watch, and actually get to meet these people in person, shake their hands, give them a hug, learn more about them. And I just look forward to these trips in the future because I know there's going to be others like this. I think they're talking about the Texas Pinball Festival, which will be in March, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm from Dallas. My family lives in the Dallas area, and this is happening in Frisco. So that would be the perfect location for me. And I would love to, whoever goes to the Texas Pinball Festival and is part of this from the home arcade community, I look forward to showing you guys around town and just showing you what Dallas has to offer. Because I know that place like the back of my hand. Lived there my entire life up until about a year and a half ago. So going to be really cool on this next trip and the next home arcade vacation that we do. So let's get into here now to Arcade1up. We have been on stream now for an hour and 11 minutes, and I have not talked Arcade1up yet. And that's pretty unusual because Arcade1up is normally the bulk of my news. It's normally most of what I discuss on this channel because they're the #1 home arcade company. They make the most units. They're the largest company. They have the most potential, and they have the best licenses. They have the ability to bring us the games that we want. And so this marketing email really caught my attention. And this was actually sent out. I think this was sent out on Monday when I was at the airport. I was talking with Paul here in that image that I just showed you here at the end. Let's see, where was that? right coming up. But anyways, so yeah, I left the Cleveland Harbor, went to the airport, and I checked my email. And my email said this: thank you for 5 years. What is your favorite arcade title? Thank you for getting Arcade1up to this milestone of 5 years. We couldn't have done it without you. Now we want to hear from you. Tell us your dream title to help us influence upcoming Arcade1up products. So they're asking us, the customers, what cabinet do we want to see next? And I think this is a great way to gauge the interest level of your customers and to create your next cabinet in this way. They used to create cabinets in a boardroom where they would kind of all come together and hash out reasons why they should or shouldn't do cabinets, and they would make their own decision. Looks like that's broken. It's not working, and they want to fix it. So this is how they've come to fix it. And I think this may have been Travis MCP's idea. If what he says is true, this would have been his idea, was to send this email out. So it asks you, what was your favorite 2023 Arcade1up title? Mine was the Pac-Man XL. I got to see the Pac-Man XL at the Illuminati House on Saturday night. It was K-Fox's that got damaged by P-Dubs. And I got a chance to play it. I got to see the size of it, and I was really impressed. When you walk up to the Pac-Man XL, it doesn't feel like an Arcade1up. It just doesn't have that feeling. You actually don't get the sense that it is an Arcade1up. You get more of a sense that this is like a reproduction version of a real arcade. And it's got that big 19-inch screen, and Pac-Man plays really good on it. It plays exceptionally well. The other titles, not so much. Like Galaga doesn't play very good. Rolling Thunder doesn't play very good because you have that extreme slant. So to push the buttons, it's harder to push the buttons with that extreme slant. But playing Pac-Man, you don't need a button, on the original one at least. So it plays really good. So my favorite 2023 Arcade1up title was the Pac-Man XL. Now tell us your dream title. They want us to tell them, what cabinet do we want to see next? Which one do we want to see Arcade1up make next? And I could have selected, just some dream title that they probably will never make or they don't have the hardware to do. But I wanted to make it easy on them because I know the Robotron 2084 game is coming and the Smash TV cabinet. So I've been playing a lot of Robotron lately. If it was between Smash or Robotron, I'm probably going to pick Robotron now. So I've switched sides. I used to think that when this comes, I'm going to get Smash. Now I've decided I'm going to get Robotron. And so I had put Robotron 2084 for my dream title. And we heard Travis MCP say in an interview this week on a live stream that there is one title that is blowing all the other titles away. They've got more votes for one game than they do any other by far. And I don't think it's the Robotron. I think that's going to be Donkey Kong by Nintendo. And the reason I say that is he said that he thinks that this is one of those that will never happen. And that's the only one that I can think of that's popular that will never happen is Nintendo, Donkey Kong. But I'd be interested to see that data and see where Robotron ended up and see who's the legitimate first. Because a Nintendo Donkey Kong isn't like a legitimate cabinet. Like Arcade1up will never be able to make that. I would like to see what's next on the list that is something that they could make. Because that's probably what we're going to get next. If they were smart, that's what they will make next. Atran had some good hashtags here. He said free Afterburner, free Road Blasters, free Hang On, free Pole Position, free Zaxxon. Yeah, all these great games here and these hashtags are all terrific picks. I'd love to have an Afterburner. I'm actually about to create a video here soon. The title of my video is going to be what Arcade1up should be making in 2024. These were not on the list. And one of mine is Afterburner. So I've got that video coming up, and I'm going to get in deep on those subjects and, why these could come, why they can't come, and why they should make these. But Afterburner's on there. Jason says they said the top was a license they can never have Nintendo. Yeah, he knows. I think everyone knows that's what everyone wants, but we'll never get. It also brings up the point, though, Nintendo should be making one. And can we get that data in front of Nintendo to help them make it? Because if they could see that, maybe they would. Goofyfoot says 5 years from an email to know 80s titles are king. Yeah, it only took 5 years. Thor KC says in the $600 price range, it needs to be an XL or better because you can often find the real thing at that price or in that price range. Arcade Talk and Star Wars reviews. Hey, Biggie D, good to see you. Hey, McCloskey. Jason says, hey to Arcade Talk. Looked like you had streamed last night. Looks like you're streaming now on Saturday nights and still sticking to your Thursday night, I believe it is as well. So if you guys ever want to go check out a different home arcade related live stream, go give Arcade Talk a view. Check his channel out. He's got some good content. So that marketing email went out on Monday, right? We select what we want. And then Arcade1up wants to follow up the Cleveland Gaming Convention or the Cleveland Gaming Classic with their own stream. So they want to steal the thunder of AtGames and New Wave Toys and Glenn and what he's doing. They want to keep the attention on Arcade1up. And that's what this stream was about. I don't think it was really about their 5-year anniversary. I don't think it was really about that they had any new information or new products to announce. I think it was really they just wanted to end the weekend with the attention on Arcade1up. That was the purpose of this live stream. And I'll tell you guys, I was really disappointed by this live stream. It was a very poor quality. We couldn't hear Cyrus at all. He was coming in and out. You know, I mean, I've got a computer here. I'm working off of a home internet connection. I don't have a ton of money to buy equipment. This is like a $20 mic that I'm talking on right now. But I'm more consistent and my streams sound much better than what they're doing in their home office in Miami. It's just unexcusable. It's like I said, a very poor quality this live stream was. And they didn't even really have a legitimate reason to be doing this live stream other than their 5-year anniversary, which it just so happened to be the Tuesday after the Cleveland Gaming Convention that they should have been at. So didn't go over very well with me. I don't know how well it went over with you guys, but it was a very poorly thought out, poorly performed stream. But there was some news in this stream that they did unveil. And that was this Arcade1up World Championship. This is kind of like a baby of Travis's. He's actually spending his own hard-earned money to make this happen. And it basically what it is, it's a world championship for anyone that owns an Arcade1up. You'll be able to participate in online tournaments with Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, what else? Mortal Kombat potentially in the future. And maybe some other sports games like Blitz, NBA Jam. Some other games may be coming in the future as well. But I'd watched this video. When they first pulled it up, I was like, what is this? What's going on here? Because if you first watch like the first 10 seconds or so, they show Candy Cab after Candy Cab. And I thought my prediction on a Candy Cab was actually coming true. Like they were actually going to end up making one. And this was going to be their big announcement. It was going to be like a Street Fighter 3 Candy Cab. That was not the case. It's just a world championship online tournament. Pretty much like what we had seen from UAG in the past, you know, where they do it on a separate channel. And they use the Arcade1up name to promote a online fighting tournament for an Arcade1up cabinet. This one, however, though, is not with your average gamer. I don't think he'll ever work with Arcade1up ever again. This is going to be with Moat, Mike of All Trades. So if you guys haven't checked out his channel, it's just Mike of All Trades, all one word. Really good guy. He's also got a secondary channel. It's called Back Alley 711. And Back Alley 711 is the channel that you have to go to participate in these official Arcade1up online fighting tournaments. So they're also going to do Marvel versus Capcom, probably X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Street Fighter, all those games. Any game that has spectate and it's a fighting game is going to be a part of this. So if you guys are looking at these thumbnails here, these are all the upcoming ones that are coming over the next month or two. It looks like they've got a bunch of them lined up for pretty much every weekend in October and then starting in November. So jam-packed with online fighting tournaments for the next probably 6-7 weeks. They're wanting to get us to go out and watch these. So even if you're not a fan of fighting games or you're not a fan of, online competition for fighting games, they're still promoting and asking people to go watch because that will help him, Travis MCP, which is our liaison, our home arcade liaison for Arcade1up. It'll allow him to go back to Arcade1up and ask them for more of this type of stuff and maybe get more games involved like Blitz, NBA Jam, and some sports games, which I would like to see. However, I was just kind of looking over this stuff and I'd taken these pictures earlier today right before my stream, and I was kind of just doing my own data and just kind of looking this over myself to see, how successful has this been so far. And unfortunately, it hasn't been doing very well. Keep in mind though, guys, this was the very first stream. So this could all change, quickly. The next stream may do double this. But as of today, there were only 820 views for the first one, which was the qualifiers. So that's not a very good sign. Because if we go back to this stream right here, the 5th anniversary live stream, it has 10,000 views. So less than 10% actually left that stream to go watch this. So that's not very good. That's less than 10% of their audience is actually engaging in this new online tournament that they're promoting. So so far, I wouldn't say it's been very successful, but that could all change. That's also why I'm talking about it tonight, is I want to send people there to Moat's channel, to the Back Alley 7-Eleven to go give it a chance and check it out. Because really right now, things are very slow for Arcade1up. Things are looking very bleak for them right now. We know about their financial trouble. We know that the owner's out. Scott Backrack, CEO, is gone. We know John D's gone. John D is you cannot replace John D. He's unreplaceable. So there's a lot of negatives surrounding Arcade1up right now. There's a lot of, it's not looking very good for them. The next, 3 months or 2 months left this year, early next year, there's probably not going to be much exciting coming out of Arcade1up. So they're just kind of grasping at what they can right now, and they're trying to just find something that will be popular, that won't cost money, that won't have development costs, that don't require them making a new product to get people to buy Arcade1up. And this is, what they're doing. This is what they're promoting right now. So go check it out. Go give it a chance, and we'll see where this goes. Now, there was some good news. This wasn't actually news. This wasn't an announcement. This is a prediction by me. This is speculation. But I listened to some of the follow-up interviews after this, where Travis MCP went on the Corner Cage stream, I think. He also went on Michael B's channel. So we've heard him a couple of times this week already. But he gave us some, just kind of some hints and some clues of what may be to come, because they want to get Mortal Kombat involved in these tournaments. And one thing that's holding back Mortal Kombat, it does not have the spectate mode. It does not have the spectator mode. The ability to watch the game online while others are fighting and be able to watch those matches. That is critical for these tournaments. So he said, though, that there was supposed to be a big announcement on Tuesday. It was delayed. We're going to get that this month in October here in about 2 or 3 weeks. And I think I know what that announcement is. It's going to be a Mortal Kombat spectator mode being added. So this is something I think that's already done. They're kind of just finalizing it and working out some bugs to get it over to the Mortal Kombat cabinets. But my prediction, mark it down, write it down, here in 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be able to play Mortal Kombat Online with spectate mode. And that's going to be on the Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe. That's going to be on the MK30th and the new MK2 Classic. So you'll have your option. You can probably get the MK2 Deluxe for $4.99 at Best Buy. You can get the MK1 30th anniversary with the riser for $3.99 pretty much anywhere. And then now you can go to Walmart. You can get the Classic for $2.99. So there's a price range for everyone. And as soon as the spectate mode comes, I'm probably going to end up getting a Mortal Kombat cabinet. And more than likely, if you guys know me, I like deals. I like saving money. It'll probably be the Classic. Oh, look at this, guys. Detroit Love is in the chat. He's saying it was nice to meet you as well. Very cool meeting you. Carl, I thought you were a fantastic guy to meet, and had a lot of fun, just talking with you. I know it was a short time there at the house. I got to speak with you, but I had a lot of fun just with that little countercade you had brought, and then also talking the Coke machine. And then I think we talked a little bit about the Pac-Man XL for a few minutes. I know you were really tired, but we got to talk about that as well. So really cool meeting you. And then let's see, anybody have any comments here on this MK30th before we move on, or the MK2 Deluxe? Doesn't look like much on the chat for that, but just know it's coming here in a couple weeks. Spectate mode on Mortal Kombat. Now, the last and final subject I want to go over, guys, tonight are Arcade1up deals. I'm always searching for deals. I'll typically check every single morning when I wake up. But lately, I've actually been checking right before I go to bed because I'm on the West Coast. So a lot of the really good deals, they will hit the websites around the time I go to bed, which is around 1 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 4 or 5 a.m. on the East Coast. So those deals, I'm going to be able to get to them probably quicker than people like, let's say, that live on the East Coast, because I'm going to be checking the night before I go to bed. And if I find like an incredible deal, I'm going to post it on a community post. So you guys can just continue to check my community post each morning, and you should be up to date on any home arcade or Arcade1up deals specifically. I did find one this week, and I told you guys this is going to ramp up because we're getting into the holiday season. So just expect more and more deals, more and more savings on like older cabinets or clearance cabinets that they're wanting to get rid of before the new inventory comes in for Christmas. So this is really going to start to happen more often and more frequently here in the next month or two. But I did find one this week. It was the Nordstrom.com Arcade1up Bandai Namco Pac-Mania arcade cabinet for $250. So this was half off. This had a lit marquee. It had a crappy TN monitor, but it can be replaced. But for $250, I mean, this is like my sweet spot. So $300, anything below that, I'm like ready to buy. It's just a good price. And let's say it's got a bad screen, I probably will still be interested in buying it because you get parts. And then if it's like something you can replace, you have that extra money to buy the screen or whatever you need to replace it with. But that sale is already sold out. So I had posted that just a few days ago, $250. That is now sold out. So you got to be quick about this stuff, and you don't want to, sit around and twiddle your thumbs too long when these prices get this low, because they will sell out. There's going to be a very small window sometimes. I've seen deals where you have like an hour or two to make a decision. So you got to be quick about it. And what's good about Biggie D's Arcade is I can be like your one-stop shop for all your home arcade deals. If you guys are subscribed to my channel, you'll get my community posts. They'll come up on your feed on YouTube, and you'll know when the deals are coming. You don't really have to, go look yourself, because I'll be doing that legwork for you guys. And it's something I'm interested in. When I started my channel, the deals are what led to my early success with this channel. So it is something that I have a passion for. I have a passion for, helping people save money and to help people get, good deals, make buys and purchases that they're happy with later on. You know, I want to be remembered and be thought of for those things that I bring to the table. So you guys continue to, keep track of any community posts. Also, if it's like an incredible deal, if it's something like out of this world deal, I've done this in the past. I'll actually create a video. If like I'm working from home that day and I have the time in the morning, I'll actually make a quick video, kind of like Michael B does for his news, just because it's that important or that big of a deal. So check that out. Also, guys, Big Buck Hunter Pro officially released this week. So if you guys were interested in this cabinet, it is officially for sale starting this week. Big Buck Pro Deluxe, the same 17-inch screen, a little bit taller design. The screen height is higher, which I like, but still no lit marquee. And I made a community post about this, and someone had commented in there, and I had really listened and took what that person said because I wanted to not only remember it, but say it again on this stream, was that 17-inch screen does not work very good for Big Buck Hunter. Big Buck Hunter requires a very large screen. So let's say we were to get a 19-inch screen with this cabinet, it probably still wouldn't have been enough to make any difference. I think what Arcade1up needs to do, and Raw Thrills needs to help them with this, is they need to make a pedestal that plugs into your TV. I think that is the the road they need to go, the path that they need to follow in order to make a true Big Buck Hunter home arcade experience. I don't think this is ever going to cut it. I don't think a 17-inch, even a 19-inch screen is going to do it. I think we just need to utilize our TVs, or, bring our own monitor, bring our own TV, and just sell a pedestal. I think that if you guys are listening Arcade1up, in your next Big Buck Pro or Big Buck Hunter Pro, it needs to be a pedestal. You guys let me know out there. What do you guys think of that? Do you like that idea? Also, they're going to be heavily promoting here over the next less than 2 weeks the new Big Buck Hunter Pro Deluxe at the Big Buck Championship. So in Chicago here in less than 2 weeks, there is a Big Buck Hunter Pro World Championship. So just like the Arcade1up Championship, there's a Big Buck World Championship. They do this every year. It's actually very long running. Arcade1up is heavily involved in this now because of their partnership with Raw Thrills and how successful that's been. You're going to start seeing a lot of this. And like I said, I made a Raw Thrills video 6-7 months ago talking about how this was going to start happening. And it is. You just expect a lot of Raw Thrills. If you see anything new from Arcade1up coming in next year or anytime, until they get their finances under control, expect it to be in partnership with Raw Thrills. Because they're helping them with development cost, and they're also helping them, they work hand in hand together. They help each other. Like Arcade1up is helping them with this event. They're a sponsor. So this will be October 20th through Saturday, October 21st. I think Travis MCP said he's going to be there. Cyrus will be there. So if you're in the Chicago area on this weekend, I would definitely check it out if you're a fan of Arcade1up. I did mention too, in Chicago, they're going to do the pinball festival or pinball convention in Chicago here. I'm wondering, is it the same weekend? I didn't actually check. So I'm checking right now, live on air right now, October 18th through the 21st. Okay, guys. So things are going to get really interesting here in less than 2 weeks. And I'll just bring this image up here on the screen for us. Kind of close it out. So we've got two conventions going on at the same time in Chicago. We've got the Pinball Expo, October 18th through the 21st in Chicago. And then we've got the Big Buck Hunter World Championship, October 20th through the 21st in Chicago. So maybe P-Dubs, he'll be there. Maybe he can get over, if he wants to the Big Buck Hunter Pro Championship. I'm sure Arcade1up's going to be doing some stuff there. We know Cyrus will be there. Maybe they'll get a live stream out there. But really cool. We got the AtGames 4KP here in less than 2 weeks being shown off Pinball Expo. We've got Arcade1up at the Big Buck Hunter Pro Championship on the same weekend in the same city. So two competitors at two different conventions or two different events in the same city. So very cool. I will definitely be following that stuff. I'm going to be out of town next weekend because I'm going to be in Orlando at Disney World, at Universal Studios. I'm going to be going to the Halloween Horror Nights, checking out Stranger Things Haunted House, Exorcist Haunted House. So lots of cool, fun stuff on my vacation I'll be doing. I know Toxin, if you guys have ever checked out Toxin, he lives in Orlando. I'm going to try and meet up with him in an arcade. He had mentioned he may go to the Halloween Horror Nights with me as well. So you may see him in some of my videos if I post any. Also, Stock Jock, I don't know if you guys know him in the community. He lives in the area. He said he may be in Orlando, so you may see me with him. But the reason I bring this stuff up is there's not going to be any live stream next Sunday because I'm going to be out of town. But I'll pick up again the following weekend, which will be the weekend of these two conventions and championship. So there'll be a lot to cover the weekend I get back, which will be 2 weeks from today. I did want to do some closing thoughts with you guys real quick before I hit the end button. So I just got a couple of closing thoughts. I'd mentioned this on my last live stream. My company buys Dell. We buy Dell laptops. We buy Dell computers, monitors. We spend a fortune with Dell every year on IT equipment. Well, Dell said, you guys are one of our big spenders. We would like to give you 2 Arcade1up items off of our website for free, put in your break room. And I had brought up on my last live stream their website, and it was kind of showing you the shopping experience for our company. They were trying to get the input of all the employees in my department and ask us, which cabinet do you guys want off the Dell.com website? And we all were in agreement and came down to NFL Blitz. So even though we're seeing NFL Blitz for $300, and it was a failure in the eyes of Arcade1up and maybe some of us in the community, it is still a highly sought after cabinet. It does have the NFL license. We're in NFL season right now. So these things are still going to sell. You're probably going to still see people buying these. But we purchased one for the office at work. Immediately, the very first thing that I noticed are these 49-way joysticks. The joysticks are incredible. They're unlike anything we've seen on any other Arcade1up before it or after it. And that is one of the big positives I have so far with this Blitz cabinet are these joysticks. You may not see me online playing because we set up the Wi-Fi only to update. And there was a major update that came out this week for NFL Blitz. So if you haven't updated your cabinet, make sure to do that this week. Supposedly there's a bunch of bug fixes for these games that came out this week. But here's just a quick video of it. Artwork is pretty pixelated on the sides. I am starting to see that now in person. You know, for the last year, I've been watching people's reviews. They're talking about how pixelated that artwork is. I can confirm that for you. Also, the marquee is a little washed out, but it's not horrible. But I'm so used to these Zabos marquees now that it does look washed out to me. I do like the slanted game deck. That is definitely the future, I think, for these 4-player game decks is to have that slant on there. The coin doors are cool. It also took our facilities guy who built this thing 4 hours to put it together. They should have just asked me to do it. I would have had this thing done in like 30 minutes. We also got an Infinity game board as well. This is the 32-inch version. In this, I have not gotten a chance to play yet because we still have to set up an account for it so we can download the apps and all that and all the games for it. But it does have a nice little track mode screen on it when you're not playing it. So I was able to at least see, you know, some animations and stuff going on the screen. And it's pretty cool. I think this is going to be a hit item in the break room. I don't see a ton of people in the company playing this. You know, it's probably going to be limited to like your NFL fans or your gamers or your arcade fans. But I could see this being popular with everybody in the company. Like, I think this will be a hit item, and this will probably be one of the ones where you see a lot of people playing it. And I think that's, again, why Arcade1up is wanting to branch out and make these different products, because it attracts a larger audience. It's not just your arcade fans or your arcade enthusiasts that buy these. Pretty much anyone and everyone will buy an Infinity game board or Infinity game table. So it'll be interesting to see how well these do in the break room over the next few months. Also, personally, I want to be playing these. I want to bring some content to you guys. Now, will I get a review in at work? Probably not, but maybe I can form an opinion on this stuff, get some B-roll footage, and make a review at home. I would like to do that, because a large, I guess, thing that prevents this channel from growing even more than it has is I don't buy all the products. You know, I'm not a big product buyer. I buy things on the cheap. I save a lot of money. I typically buy this stuff, you know, a year or two after it releases. So I've never been able to take advantage or capitalize on reviews like a lot of the other channels do. So, but anytime I get an opportunity to review something, I want to do it, because I feel like the reviews I have done are very good. They have been watched and been successful. So I'm going to do one on the NFL Blitz. I'll do one on the 32-inch Infinity game board. And also I'm reaching out to other companies, or I will be when I get back from Orlando, on review units for the channel. You know, I'd like to start getting into that. And that's going to take some work and some networking and getting to know some of these people that behind the scenes to make that happen. But it is going to be a focus of mine towards the end of this year and starting next year, is to get into the review unit type content that you see on a lot of the other channels. That's one thing I haven't really done much of. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream, guys. I'll say hi here, or bye, to a few of the people in the chat before I close out the stream. Jason says, Biggie D, live from the sky on Pterodactyl ride. Yeah, there's going to be some cool rides. I won't be bringing all my equipment, but I'm going to bring my cell phone, and I'll be getting some videos, like probably shorts, things like that you'll probably see over the next week. But like produced videos, no, and no live streaming for at least a week. Atrian says, yep, I'm going to mod a used NFL Blitz Arcade1up joystick to make a 5-speed shifter for my sit-down PC modded Ridge Racer Arcade1up. That is awesome, Atrian. Yeah, if you could reuse or repurpose those 49-way joysticks for another use, that's personally what I was thinking. I was like, if I can get an incredible deal on an NFL Blitz, you know, what could I mod, or what could I use this stuff on, you know, to make a multicade, or to improve another arcade. Arcade Talk says, what the Jason, LOL? Goofy Foot, it's not over, Carlo. There's still 10 hours left of playtime. Autocorrect is killing me. I always hate the autocorrect on my cell phone. If you guys see my spelling in the chats not being so good, not that I can't type, it's that I'm using my cell phone, and that autocorrect will mess up my words sometimes. Pterodactyl ride, you fly over a portion of Universal Studios near the Kong ride, would look awesome streamed. Yeah, we'll see if I can get a stream in, maybe, but I wouldn't count on it. But definitely I'll get some shorts, and I'll get some B-roll footage for when I get back. So one thing about this stream tonight, I wish I would have had more footage of the convention to share with you guys tonight on the live stream. Even though I wasn't getting content or making content at the convention, I still need to have my camera out in periods just to capture some of that stuff for you guys to go over on these streams. I think would be cool. So I'll try and do that when I'm in Universal and I'm at Disney World, is I'm going to try and capture some footage to share with you guys on my next live stream. Arcade Talk says, I went to the Universal once back in 1995, so it's been a while. Edensoft says, arcade machines in the office, a dream come true. Yep, when I heard that we were getting those, I was like so ecstatic. And I think my manager knows I have this channel, so he was really happy to tell me he had got some. Atran 6'5" here, 6'3". Multicade Matt's about an inch taller, I'd found out, than I am. But and Shiloh's way taller. Shiloh of New Wave Toys, he's like 6'7", 6'8". He's huge. All right, guys. Well, had a really good time. It's been a blast, like it is every Sunday night on the stream, just hanging out, talking home arcades. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you guys have watched, like the stream, and comment down below at the end. You know, put a comment down in A lot of live streams, you don't see a lot of comments at the end once it ends. Let's get some comments down there, and I'll respond to them as well. But I'll see everyone in the next one. No live stream next Sunday, but we'll pick back up where we left off the following week. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.